Joining me right now here on Sports Central is our Wildcats coach. I think he'd be a happy man after the victory over the weekend. How are you, Rob?
Yeah, no, I'm going great. Very, very happy man.
Nice to talk to you. Well, it was nice to turn it around, particularly after it on the road. They pushed you around and they probably dished up what you've dished up to most teams this season, a really physical game of basketball, but you gave it back to them on the weekend.
Yeah, we probably were a little bit soft. They came out and really got after us and probably set the scene pretty early. And in a way, it was probably just after half-time, assistant coach and I said, this is probably good for us to get a bit of kick up the bum and refocus because we're on a bit of a roll and you don't want the guys to be too cocky. And I don't think it was case being too cocky, but it was just a good situation that we played against a great team and they gave us a kick up the arse and woke us up a bit.
Do you think you're getting better on the road? Because, you haven't won a lot of games on the road. Obviously, you're going to win enough to probably finish up on top of the ladder, but it'd be something that you'd like to get better at, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there's no doubt. When it comes to the playoffs, you're going to play 2 at home, 1 on the road, and obviously you definitely want to try and win on the road. There's no question about that. And I looked at the table today, and the best team on the road is Townsville. They've won 5 on the road, and we're next best at 4. So it's a pretty difficult thing to do, but something that we just got to try and overcome.
What do you think it is?
A lot of it's to do with just the home court, the crowd, how loud it was. It was the other night against Melbourne, was a situation where they came out so hard, it fired the crowd up early. And I think you've got to have great starts. If you have a really, really good start, you can keep going. We did that up in Townsville. We were outstanding for 3 quarters of the game. The crowd was nearly silent. And then when they went on a roll, the place was so loud that they fed off that emotion. And I think that's a real thing that you got to be able to get rid of as early as you can.
Speaking of get rid of things, you're able to end Melbourne's 5-game winning streak. How do you rate them? Do you think that they can still sneak into the final somewhere or not? I know that I think they've got to win all but 1 game, don't they, throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough because Wollongong keep winning. Melbourne are relying on Wollongong to lose, and they've got 2 games ahead of Wollongong. Melbourne play every game they've got is against one of the top 4 teams, and I can't see them. They've got a really tough schedule. A lot of them are on the road, so I just can't see them winning all the remaining games.
You've been able to give yourself a little bit of breathing space, but I'm sure you're not really looking at what Townsville and Gold Coast are doing, are you?
No, not at all. We've got probably the hardest road trip you can do. We play Cairns on the this Wednesday week, and then we've got Gold Coast Friday, Melbourne Saturday. So we've got a pretty hectic schedule, and our focus right now is to beat Cairns. They came out and said we're bullies, we're thugs, and we're going to get them back. So right now our focus is to definitely get after them. Then 2 days later, Gold Coast. So we've already started preparing for both those games. And the way I see it with Melbourne is we get down there lunchtime on the Saturday after those 2 tough games, and hopefully we got a travelling party of about an extra 60 to 80 supporters that they're going to be very loud, and hopefully they can give us a little bit of emotion and our adrenaline can take over.
Now, we spoke to Brad Robbins on our Saturday morning Sports Open line, and not to realise that his grandfather had passed away, and for him to get out there and play the match that he did, I know he was given credit by the opposition, but you must have been very proud.
Oh, very, very proud. Brad and I are pretty close. We've gone a long way back, and he spoke to me about it on the Saturday morning. He was very, very flat and down, and it was important. I spoke to the group about it, and Saturday night was just as much about playing for ourselves. But we did that for Brad the other night, and we brought him in and put him straight on the hodge, and they got in a little bit of a scuffle, and that fired Brad up even more. So I thought that that was good for him to get rid of a bit of emotion that night as well.
And what about Luke Schenn standing up and beating Chris Anstey in the end?
Yeah, well, I challenged him about it. I thought Wednesday night he had his ass kicked, and I challenged him saying it's not good enough. He's the premier big man in the league, and let's see how good you are against him. And he stood up the other night. He played at a very consistent level, and that's the thing we're trying to get with all of our players is stop doing it in bursts. You've got to do it every single time, and that's what we're going to try and continue doing.
Now, what do you do? Look, your next game's not till February 3, is it? So, what do you do between now and then? Is it a little bit difficult? Do you have let the boys rest up? How do you approach that sort of break?
Yeah, what we've done, we gave them 2 days off, so they had Sunday, Monday off. I went very, very hard this morning. Absolutely flogged them. Got up and down for close to 3 hours, high intensity. Tomorrow morning, we're going to go hard again for about an hour, and then we've got a camp on this week for all the kids, the Wildcats camp. So we've got about 180 kids, I think, coming to the camp. So they're going to have a little bit of fun with them. Thursday night, we're going to have a inter-squad game. I really don't like this 11-day between games, so we're going to have a pretty good hit-out Thursday night, 6:30 at Perry Lakes, red versus black scrimmage.
Yep.
And Friday will be off, and then we always like to have a solid 3-day preparation. So we're going to go Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and fly up to Cairns on the Monday afternoon.
Right, okay. Yeah, it's one of those things, you just sort of think from your last game and the length of that break, it must be something that's quite difficult to administer. But it sounds like you've got good control over that. Galen Young, since his introduction, he just seems like he is that mature player. He's got a cool head. He knows how to play the game. He likes to mix it. And, he comes up with, we came up with a nice 3-pointer the other day. In fact, a few of the boys did in the early part of that last quarter.
Yeah, well, Galen was a guard. He actually played in the NBA as a guard. He was came out of college and played many years, and just over the past probably 7 or 8 years, he's had to change his game. So he's now a power forward, but with guard skills, and he has that ability to knock down that open shot. But probably the biggest strength for him is his passing ability, because he was a guard.
All right, mate. Well, I can hear the phone ring in the background. Better let you go. Thanks very much for joining us here on Sports Central tonight.
Okay, Carl. All the best, mate.